Hey everyone, it's Stranger Grayson here. Welcome back to another horror movie review. Today, we'll be looking at another movie in the Evil Dead franchise, and we're getting close towards the end before Evil Dead Rise comes out, and I'll make sure to get a review on that when I see it this weekend or early next week. But the movie I will be reviewing today is on the third entry in the franchise, and is technically like the last of the original trilogy. And that is Army of Darkness. Now, this definitely sure is a name change from Evil Dead. I believe they had to change it due to like some licensing issues. Yes, again, licensing issues. The edition I have here, the Blu-ray, it's actually Scream Factory. Unfortunately, I cannot get the slipcover, but it does come with a reversible slipcover along with 3 versions of the movie. It has the theatrical edition, director's cut, and the international cut. The one I'll be talking about today is the theatrical version. But honestly, these movies are honestly about the same except for like the ending, which I did see both endings. I will make comment about that. So, Army of Darkness, what is it about? Army of Darkness follows after the events of Evil Dead 2, when Ash gets sucked through the time portal with the rift in time. Both him and the Delta go back in time to like 1300s or 1400s, and they're he's captured by a guy named Lord Arthur. He leads a rebel army in like the 1300s, trying to fight the Deadites and the demons. Unfortunately, they believe he is one of Henry's men. Henry is actually one of the rivals that they've been battling during this whole Kandarian demon outbreak. However, Wise Man is not so sure about this because he read the book and he believed that it is the prophesied one who falls from the heavens and delivers them from the Deadites. Arthur doesn't believe him, of course, so he captures Ash. Ash is whipped, beaten, and he's sent for execution by the pit with Henry and all his men. Then we also get introduced to Sheila. She is like Ash's love interest of this movie. She hates him at first, but then after some stuff happens, she really adores him. So Ash gets sent to the pit. He's able to fight off the Deadites in the pit. And then they finally realize that he really is the chosen one that fell from the sky. So, of course, he gets pleasured. The Wise Man comes in, shows him how they're able to send him back to his time with like a potion. He just needs to grab a book. So, after, they set Ash up, he gets a new hand. He still doesn't use his chainsaw in this one, unfortunately. Even though it does show in the cover here that he has his chainsaw, he really just doesn't use it except for like one scene, and that's really about it. He gets a metal hand with a little help. Then he gets sent out into the woods to try to find the Book of the Dead. Now, when he gets there, the Wise Man shows him where to go. They don't want to venture too far because that's where the demon lives, but they send Ash out there because he's the chosen one. He says, once you get the book, you have to speak these 3 words, Glatu Verata Nictu. And, of course, Ash is like, yeah, I got it, after he makes him repeat a few times. So, Ash goes out into the woods with his horse. Then, let's just say, things do not go as planned when he ventures the woods, and the chaos ensues. Army of Darkness was a movie that I had, some low hopes for, considering this is like a 90s, early 90s movie, and at this point, Sam Raimi tried to go mostly comedy. Evil Dead 2 was like mostly horror, but it did have a little bit of comedy thrown in. This movie just relied on the comedy. You're not really get much horror in this. Most of the comedy did work. Not all of it, per se, I thought was funny. Some of it did get annoying. However, I did enjoy this more than I did Evil Dead 2 when it came to the comedy perspective. And you might see this when I do a ranking video. eventually. This may change, however, I still have the remake to watch and review, and of course Evil Dead Rise. But for now, Army of Darkness is probably my favorite out of the three I've seen so far, and that's saying something, considering. Bruce Campbell once again comes back to don the chainsaw with Ash. I think he does once again a great job. Probably less of a great job than he did in Evil Dead 2, but I still think he kicks ass in this movie. He's very funny. The kills were a lot less tame, a lot less gorier, I will say that, because most of these kills just have, like, bones and stuff. You only get, like, one full blood-filled scene, and that was it. Like, when blood gets shot out from the pit. Other than that, that's really all the blood you see in this movie, and that's saying something coming from Sam Raimi and his Evil Dead franchise. Lord Arthur, I thought he was a, good character. He wasn't the greatest. Henry doesn't really get a lot of screen time except for, like, the beginning and towards the end. So he was a bland character, but Sheila, probably my second favorite love interest that Ash has had. This is including all the other Lindas. It got a little weird with Ash and Sheila, especially when the big bad character comes out, and there's like some stuff that happens involved with Sheila and the big bad. And I'm not going to spoil who the big bad is because I don't want to, give anything away. But I will tell you, the big bad in this movie is freaking awesome. He's probably my favorite out of the, two other main demons so far. The ending to this movie. Well, I did watch both. I watched the theatrical version first. I definitely preferred it a lot more than I did the original ending, because the original just seemed a lot more dark, and it was just sad, and you really could go nowhere with that, So I definitely prefer the normal ending, the theatrical ending that most people got to see. I definitely prefer that over the original. Glad they went in and reshot it. Now, this movie was actually, you could definitely tell it had a bigger budget because this was actually picked up by Universal. And you can tell just by the quality work, the practical effects, the camera shots, you can definitely tell this was all pretty well budgeted. The castle, the setting with like the medieval times, definitely was a change up from the cabin. I do like that we got to get more involved. We got away from the cabin and definitely got somewhere else. That's another thing I did enjoy about this movie. This castle looked awesome. I would really love to visit it, without the demons, of course. But, yeah, the castle was portrayed really well. I do like the, change up in settings. Ted Raimi does get a cameo in this movie, Sam Raimi's brother. He's like one of the, scared civilians in the castle. Bruce Campbell, great job as always. Sheila, she was all right. Lord Arthur was all right. Henry was all right. The Wise Man, I did enjoy as well. And most of the demons I thought were pretty good, especially with the main, I'm trying not to spoil it. Let's just say the demons are more bony than they are. I'll just say that. I don't want to give anything away. So, anyway, that has been my review on Army of Darkness. This was a very surprising entry to the franchise, especially considering it was going to be called Medieval Dead, but then that was changed due to licensing issues. Definitely think Medieval Dead would have been better than Army of Darkness, but, you can only do so much. However, this was still a great film. I highly recommend it. This has definitely been my favorite out of the three so far. If I had to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd probably give it about a 9 out of 10. 8.5 to a 9. This was really interesting. Of course, it does get cheesy at some points, but that's normal for a horror comedy. More so comedy than horror, but it still tries to keep some horror elements. But yeah, this was very well made movie. Highly recommend it. Anyways, what is everyone's thoughts on Army of Darkness? Let me know down in the comment section down below. Would really love to hear everyone's thoughts on it. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next horror movie review. God bless, and have a good weekend. Bye, everyone.